Santé. Bonjour.
Bonjour. Hi, Joe.
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Each has the 20 minutes to present his case to the judge. I will order as much for the last 5 and 2 minutes as well as for the last 30 seconds of the presentation. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate and prepare the number of sub-analyses. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will be stopped and order proceed with the question and answer period. A question and answer period of the maximum of 5 minutes is allocated to the judge at the end of the presentation. Please note that at any time your agency or return to the name or the location of your university. I will now let the judge introduce themselves. You can start your presentation when you are finished.
Bonjour, mon nom est Caroline Gendron-Lesage, CPA, CA, MBA et je travaille au cabinet Loranger Jean-Commency.
Mireille MSc, CPA, CA, professeur qui était here.
Marie Lamontagne, CPA, CA, MBA, CISA, from the Light, Senior Manager.
Alexandre Barry, CPA, CA, MBA, directeur en certification, solution fiscalité comptabilité.
Good afternoon, Jocelyn. We'd first of all like to congratulate you on the phenomenal success La Mauricie has had over the past 60 years. With that success and that growth that you've experiencing lately comes certain challenges. So that's why we are here today in order to help you. So I'd like to present you to my team, Joseph Bartlett, Ray Hader, and myself, Victoria Lalonde. So if we take a look, throughout the growth that La Mauricienne has been experiencing, they have remained a private enterprise. Therefore, we're going to use the ASPE framework moving forward. You've awarded certain contracts expanding your facilities to 10,000 square feet to increase that production capacity from that growth. Now, this leads to more complicated accounting issues and more production capacity. So we've outlined 2 clear objectives for you today. The first one will be with regards to the accounting treatments. So we're going to go through the revenue recognition, the legal expenses, the capital property, the non-current debt, and the financial statement adjustments after all of these changes have been made. The next major objective we'd like to address today is the new project, the new production capacity adjustment. So we'll go through the contribution margin per product, followed by the capacity constraint, followed by the production based on the capacity that we have available, followed by some qualitative considerations that we'd like to look at today, followed by an overall recommendation on the production that should be made. So without further ado, I'll pass the floor to my colleague Ray, who will start off with the accounting treatments.
Thank you, Victoria. So one of the first things we looked at, according to your description, was the accounting policies and how to treat these various issues. And the first accounting policy we looked into was revenue recognition. If you move right along to the next slide, please. The current treatment of the revenue is that there's high product returns. Your company is making sales, and a large percentage is being returned. Your company has a 10-day return policy guarantee. For that reason, there's also sales contracts in place. Now, however, according to ASPE 3400 revenue recognition, transfer of ownership and risk and rewards, as well as no continuous managerial involvement, are necessary in order for revenue to be recognized. However, these 2 key components are currently not being recognized. As a result, revenue should not be recognized until the 10 days are over. Now, this is for 2 reasons. Primarily, though, it's really for conservatism, and 10 days is just more accurate. As a small company, it's easier for a company to do that kind of accounting treatment. However, moving forward, a sales return allowance can be implemented only when a reasonable estimate can be estimated. Now, the second key issue you want us to look into was the legal expenses. So currently, this fees relate to contract negotiations that are being capitalized and deferred over 5 years. And as a result, you're expensing $40,000 a year. Now, the total amount of the legal fees that relate to these contract negotiations are $200,000. Therefore, there's a little bit of a mistake here. As a result, there has to be an adjustment of $180,000 to your income statement. So So the whole $200,000 of the legal fee must be accounted for in this accounting period. Now, we're talking a few issues here. The next one is really in relation to the capital property you want us to look into. So currently, transportation and installation costs have been expensed. However, these costs relate directly to a fixed asset. Now, according to ASPE 3061, which really deals with property, plant, and equipment, the handbook basically says that all costs associated with bringing the asset to its useful use should be included in the cost of the asset. Therefore, the $35,000 that are currently being expensed should actually be on the balance sheet capitalized onto the equipment. As a result, your EBITDA, your earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, will increase by $35,000. So what we really recommend is more of a classification issue here. You'd have to take your income statement expense $35,000 and reclassify it onto your balance sheet as a fixed asset. Now moving right along once again to the non-current debt here. Now currently what's happening is there's interest expense of $56,250, currently recognized in income. This is a yearly expense of $70,000 roughly. Now your question to us is very simple.